Hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network episode 10. This is our weekly live stream where we talk about music, music production, music technology, all that kind of stuff. It's crazy to see we hit the double digits already. It feels like yesterday we just started this, but yeah, we love having these every week, and our patrons can come on the chat, like on the actual video, and then everyone is welcome to the chat. We'll be talking about some interesting news between Bandcamp, Epic, and Epic's lawsuits with Google and Apple, and how Bandcamp's kind of playing into that now. We'll be talking about, what is it, an MPC, Kh3rtis, that's making you quit ambient music?
Yeah, I'm done now.
He's done with ambient music. He's throwing in the towel, switching the beats, and then Eon Lake's got an interesting bit about some fundamentals of synth and ADSR and stuff like that. So I'm Sunwarper. With me, as always, is my Audionautic co-pilot, Kh3rtis. Kh3rtis, how are you?
I'm good, bro. How you doing? You right?
Good. I'm trying to remember to use our monikers and not our personal names. So we're getting there. We're getting there. As we talked about in our little impromptu Patreon Star Stream live thing yesterday, it's difficult because we're used to just kind of swapping between, but we're trying to have an air of professionality, so here we go.
I mean, professionality, consistency, any modicum of order within
That's not us.
Entire but it's not going to happen. We're also here with Eon Lake. How are you, man? It's nice to see your face.
I'm all right, thanks. So if Sunwarper's professionality and your consistency, I don't know what the hell I am, but
you're the love that
you're the ancient wisdom that roamed the world with the dinosaurs.
No.
Kh3rtis, you've got something interesting coming this week. You mind talking a little bit about it?
I mean, yeah, it's a way to mention it. Yeah,
well, you pushed right past it. I had to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Self-deprecation, isn't it?
Get those brakes on.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
I've got a brand new EP coming out in collaboration with Willibrand on Friday. It's a kind of a spacey, kind of like boppy, kind of summery vibe to it.
Yeah,
that kind
it's
of
a
thing.
chill one. That was the prelude to you quitting Ambient, right? Working on them beats. Yeah.
So I picked up a pair of drumsticks one day and thought, you know what, this is kind of nice.
Who needs Ambient? Drumsticks all the way.
Exactly. And then I saw what Akai have been pushing out over the past couple of days from Haur. I was like, fuck this. I am no longer going to do ambient. I'm just going to be a beat maker, specifically trap, maybe drill trap.
So what you're saying is KW is your swan song to ambient.
Exactly. No, it's cool. It's really fun working with Carl. Carl he's an absolute dude. He's an absolute dude, and he's got a very good way of working about him. And so we were trading some stems back and forth, and that popped up. We wrote 4 tracks, but one we're saving because it's a bit of a different vibe. You mastered them, so you know what you're on.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this. So
you will soon.
What of the trademark Willibrand vibe, which is
it was different. It was really surprisingly different.
Ambient.
I was not expecting what I heard when I was mastering it. It's great. It's really cool. But I was not expecting where it went between either of you. It's like you went in a different direction.
Sometimes you get that, don't you? The collabs, you probably each into somewhere different, and it's not typical for either of you necessarily.
I mean, Kh3rtis, if you're willing to talk about it really quick, I was curious that when I was listening to it, when I was mastering it, how did you work on this collab? Like, did you guys send each other stems or something? Because, when we do collabs, we just kind of throw each other stems and say, hey, just make it sound good. And then with this new one we're doing with Eon Lake, it's a very different vibe where we're just passing stems to each other and then reworking it, and then we're going to pass that to the next person. So I'm just curious how you did it.
Well, I was thinking, Calm Complete, that the lead track on that, the third one of the single, that's originally, the majority of that is actually Carl. He sent me a long kind of 5-minute jam or so. I think about 5 minutes, but it's him on his bass. There's some drums in there as well, and then I added some more synths. I added a guitar line, like a 6-string. There's like, because obviously he's the king of bass. So like, I wasn't going to step on his toes. So I added some 6-strings. I added some synths and stuff like that. But he sent me one raw. I think it was an MP3.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been a WAV, but I think it's probably an MP3. And so I sent him back the stems, and he kind of played around with it a little bit more. The other two, this is where you know what we do, because we make stuff so much. Like
well, this is interesting. It's not the same approach for every song.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, I mean,
it's the first thing I would want to know.
I think the other two were originally my stems or my loops. You know me, I just build loops and throw them at people and see what they make. And then he kind of created it from there. So yeah, so I think that's kind of how it went. And so Calm Complete was a bit more, started with Carl and came back to me and then went back to Carl. And then the other two, I built the loops. Forgive me, Carl, if I've got that wrong. But the idea, I'm pretty sure Binary Sunrise was my name. So like it was, that kind of works. So the rest of it, I built the stems and then just threw it at it. And he came back with what we've got. Cool. And it's a good way of working. And as you, I don't know, like Carl obviously has his ambient side, but he's been doing this for like 10, 15 years, like jamming in bands all across Australia. So he's like in a blues rocky kind of thing.
Well, he's a bass player. He's going to be in demand.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like I've been going back. He's on YouTube, like from videos from like 2011, 2010, and he's like playing blues and rock. It's amazing. And
where's the field recordings? Where's the birds? Where's the link, man?
Exactly. So it's just so he's got all this massive background. Yeah. When we started, we were like, we want to make something a bit more rocky, a bit something a bit more psychedelic, and a bit kind of like a bit different. We're both, obviously we're all in the ambient community, but like, you know, I like a good beat. So like I was like, you know, fuck it, we'll try something new.
Yeah, real quick, exactly. Shady Ridge is in the chat. How you doing, Josh?
Yo, Shady.
Hey, Josh.
How you doing, man? Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Shady Ridge, they've got an interesting thing coming out on Friday as well with 59 Perlin.
And somebody else that's in this room right now. Aren't you on a remix for it?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Jesus, dude. You are a top tier marketer of your brand.
Top tier marketer. Everybody, join the Kh3rtis train. We don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Well, so this Friday we've got KW coming out on Audionautic. That's you and Willibrandt, and then over on Shady Ridge, 59 Perlin. I think it's Moods, right? That's the name.
Yeah, it's Moods.
Yeah, that's out.
The artwork on the cover of that as well.
And Kh3rtis has a remix on there.
But...
Yeah, so I remixed Apollo 13, the track on there, and that was a lot of fun. That was good work with Matthias. He's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's different again because we don't get to do much kind of like housey stuff and kind of like boppy stuff. So it's an interesting way. It's all about the beats, which I mean brings me to Mackay really. Naturally.
No, we're not there yet. We still gotta ask Eon.
I was gonna say mixing's more fun.
Yeah, you are trying to jump the gun nonstop today, Curtis. Hold yourself.
I had a beer before we came.
Steady. Eon, like, what's new with you?
I've been rehearsing for Foxfest, which is the Wear a Fox benefit for Ukraine.
Cool.
For Red Cross.
When is that?
People helping out there. I think that's 27th of May.
Cool.
Oh, so it's coming up.
It's
quick.
Coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a lineup. I'm.
Well, you were getting ready for that other one, right?
Well, yeah. It's basically going to be a shortened version of the set I was going to play in Nottingham. So yeah, it's only a few songs. There's a lot of big names. I say big names. You know, in our sphere, big names. You know, Scanner's probably the biggest one, but there's a lot of brilliant acts playing. So it's only going to be a few songs from me, but yeah, I've been working on that a lot of the time.
Are you gonna film it?
Sorry.
Are you gonna film it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It will be video of me playing a bit of bass, a little bit of keys, knob tweaking, and so on.
Cool.
Love a bit
just generally shepherding it home. Maybe some whistling.
Ooh.
Oh boy. But yeah. It's all fun until you have an audience, and then it gets a little bit scary. But
it'll be worth it.
It's what I do, so it should be fine.
Yeah,
but I'm really actually looking forward to seeing all the other people as well. I'm nosy. I like to see people doing what they do. Watch what they're doing. How you doing that? Then and there's some good modular stuff on there from people like Everyday Dust.
Oh, that'll be sick.
Yeah, and it's people, loads of people. Aptar, I can't name them all. There are loads of good people on there. So I'm very pleased to be part of that. It's nice to be able to talk about it now as well.
Yeah.
It's been under wraps for quite a while, isn't it?
Yeah, as a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I remember in every Star stream, it's like, oh, I can't talk about what I'm doing right now, what I'm working on.
Yeah, I like to sound like a secret squirrel about everything. Been really hampered with some technical problems though, which I think
we
is
know.
MIDI interface, USB. Everybody wants you to use USB because it's so convenient, isn't it? It's not
Apparently
convenient
not
when
for
you've
you.
got 20 USBs to connect to one computer.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the problems I'm getting with the sound, my mixer hanging up, is just USB overload.
Oh, so you got too many going into the computer?
It just keeps hanging up and not working, and I'm having to reboot it and reboot the control app as well to reconnect, and it's just a nightmare. I was at it for hours the other night. But I had a little rant recently about using proprietary drivers and done by equipment that is, proprietary drivers. My new mixer is using proprietary drivers at the moment over USB, and I'm having a world of pain. However, in my defense, it also has AVB and an Ethernet port on the back. So you can, in theory, get 128 channels of digital audio out of that interface. It's a standard that is supported on all Macs with a physical Ethernet port since 2015, I think. So I'm looking at moving it over to that. I've hooked it up and they can see each other. I haven't actually got the digital music going in and out of it yet, but I'm hoping that I can migrate onto that, and so that I've just got a digital Ethernet connection for all my audio in and out of the computer, and that'll make life easier. And then that way it's just MIDI running over USB, and there's probably enough bandwidth in USB for that. I mean, it could be power as well. If you've got enough things that need power on a MIDI hub and it's not enough power to the hub, you can run into all sorts of problems.
I feel like we should have like some sort of like short and real kind of like Instagram saga of Howard's continued studio work.
I was gonna say if there's a week on here,
great for a while.
If there's a week on here that you go like, oh, everything's great, I'm making music, no problems, I'm gonna think like the world's ending. It's an apocalyptic event or something.
I've had it. I'm gonna sort this. I've had enough of this.
Yeah, I hope you do, man. I hope you do.
Sunwarper, what have you been up to?
Let's see. I yesterday was like, I'm gonna see if I can make a song in like an hour. And
cool.
That's what I was doing.
Those deadlines, right?
It went out beyond an hour and went to like 3 or 4 hours, but I came up with this awesome thing that I was stoked on, and I was procrastinating because I'm trying to do a bunch of emails and stuff like that for my next release, and then make a video for this Aphex Twin cover I'm doing. But I was like, nah, let's make some music. I mean, that's what I did. But I got a lot of stuff in the works that's keeping me busy. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I mean, why market yourself when you could just create all the time?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be that's the dream, right?
Tune in at the quarter to the hour when Michael will be taking us through how to market yourself.
Well, it's important to do. I took a break yesterday, but I'm back on it today. So
that's the way to go.
Speed composing is a great idea, though.
Yeah,
just that way. You don't have the time to allow yourself to get in your own way.
Exactly. And this was for a label compilation, so it was nice when I finished. I just sent it to the person, and I had an extra set of ears to be like, oh, it sounds great. You don't need to fix the bass or something. Because I was going to be like, God, do I need to tweak the bass, tweak this? And I was like, it's not mixed yet. And he goes, no, this sounds great. Just up the nature volume a little bit. I was like, okay, that's fine by me.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what you need. That's exactly what you need.
Sometimes it doesn't need to be tweaked.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to teach myself. Just let go. Like, just do something quick, call it a day.
Maybe
like, be proud of it.
The first time.
Yeah.
If we're increasingly like, if we're in the moment and it's doing it and it sounds right in the moment, it's going to be good, whatever.
Yeah.
As you said, Eon Lake, it's a moment in time. Especially after our discussion last week about kind of letting go and getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those ones that happens quickly, without any real trouble, and it just sort of comes out, it tends to be one of your better ones, and it tends whatever that quality is that's hard to define that it has.
I think it's the flow.
A track that you pound to death over a series of months doesn't have. it's worth the odd mistake or flaw or something to keep
Mhm.
that in, because it's worth 10 times what you could get from polishing it and just killing the vibe. You've
Completely.
got to know where to pull the plug sometimes. Just keep the magic in there. I mean, it's human if there's something maybe slightly. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. But not even just not second guessing yourself, like putting a note in and being like, that's just where it's going, you know, like it's fine. I mean, yeah, if it's a very wrong note, you fix it in the MIDI or whatever, but if it's just like a little weird or something, but you like where it goes, like there's a reason you hit it in that moment, and just preserve it, you know. It's a moment in time. I think, Ian, like you've said that before, like whatever you're making at that moment is you in that moment in time, and like let it reflect it. So I've been taking your words to heart.
And I think if you get what you did, where it happens quicker, that sort of magic happening, that flow, I think you're connecting with something deeper, and then that's is that not what we're trying to do anyway?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just a vessel for the universe, if you think about it. To go full hippie on the whole situation.
And that's why we have you here. You bring the hippie.
Yeah, always about the hippie. We're hitting 20 minutes, or we're hitting 20 minutes in. Should we move across and migrate to the news?
Yeah, I mean, you keep talking about this NPC thing. Maybe we should just get that done, because you keep trying to jump to
Are
it.
you sick of spending all your money on private jets, hamburgers, and floor-length mink coats?
This is where
if so, then this could be the bit of kit for you. Seriously.
Let's build up. We've got 3 pieces, 2 small and 1 big discussion point. So
the NPC is the big discussion, right?
The NPC is the big talking point. But we're going to start with that. I mean, let's just face it. It was a bit clickbaity today, but how Eon Lake stuck this in our chat literally this afternoon. We had a whole plan, and then we were like, "Fuck it."
Oh man, I need that.
Oh beauty!
Look at this monstrosity. It is just absolutely disgusting.
That's awesome.
It looks just perfect for sitting on your gold toilet and composing,
making beats.
If Elvis was alive today, this is what he would be using. You know? This is absolutely awful. I don't know where they're coming, but I mean, it made me go, right, I'm just going to become a beat maker.
Yeah, and they've got other NPC gold editions as well, like the other models too.
Oh, really? Like the one?
Like the NPC one, the little one.
That's cool. You have the gray one, right? Eon Lake? You have a live.
I've got the sort of special edition original Akai colors.
I like that one. That one's sick.
I like it work. I mean, traditionally, it's a great piece of kit. That is just. Oh,
it looks like you spray painted it that way.
It does. Are the knobs actually gold though? I'm assuming not, given the price.
I'm betting they're black underneath.
Yeah,
and that's wear off
given the
over
price,
time.
I was like, I doubt it.
It's like when I was a kid, like when you're like 16, 17, you get your first car. It's usually like a Vauxhall Corsa or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a Fiat Punto or something, and then you just get people who just like wrap it in gold, and it's just like, no, this is not what you need. It's just, yeah.
Back on the chat, Kh3rtis says, "Hey guys, how you doing, Steve? Glad to have you here. Welcome."
Hey, Steve. You want one of these, don't you, mate?
We see you in the waiting room. We'll be there in a bit.
Yeah, we're just gonna run through some news and.
So yeah, that was. I mean, it's not really news. It's just I wanted to.
This is kind of news. You're quitting Ambient over this.
I am quitting Ambient.
It's a floodgate, though, really, isn't it? I understand how it makes you feel, Josh. That's it for Ambient. Ambient's dead. As soon as that thing hits the market, you know what you got to do.
Exactly. I mean, there's no other way about it.
Serious trap.
Yeah, it's all about the beat making. It's all about the money for starters. It's all about that dollar. Why make music for integrity?
Especially as soon as you let that thing into your studio, you need everything else in gold as well.
Of course, I want my thing is.
That's going to cost money.
I know. Right, I'm just going to have to
sell those beats.
Exactly. Well, we talked about it. Who needs 2 kidneys, right? You know, Kh3rtis wants everything you have, Eon Lake. Just send it to him. You can go minimal and just go minimal, and there you go. That's how minimalism is key, right?
Yeah, I just need a gold NPC.
That's all you need.
Get some teeth to match or something.
Oh yeah,
a good grill.
Yeah.
So like you say, the grill, the mink coat, the pimp hat, and all sorts.
Yeah, that could work.
Let's go make some trap, guys. Let's go make some trap.
What else we got?
Yeah. So second part of the news from here. I'm just going to re-share my screen again. This is a share from Sunwarper. This is a brand new. Free VST from Spitfire. They come out with them.
You know me and free. I've got you. If you like free plugins, I've got you covered.
Now, this, as we know, Spitfire Labs are bloody amazing, and they're all free. They've been a little bit funny as late because they don't do that kind of abstracty stuff, but they've come out with cello moods. Excuse me, Steve.
Shut up, Steve.
Sorry.
Not Hydro Fighter, you guys. Come on. Talking to the cat.
Cat. So yeah, this is cello moods, and it sounds pretty amazing. Actually, it must be said.
Let's see if it comes through, because I know the audio transfer is kind of weird when it.
You hear that?
No.
No. Okay, don't worry about it then. But
but take Kh3rtis' word for it. It's chill. He's quitting Ambient, but he thinks it's chill.
That's chill. And if you think about that bit on the Titanic, when the people who are playing the music, they understand that all is doomed and they start playing the really sad stuff. That's what it sounds like. It's
as
great.
they slide towards an icy death.
Exactly. So guys, if you're feeling
nice
frosty,
and cheery,
get on this.
Didn't say it sounded happy.
Yeah. Well, it says
chill.
But so there's that. So free plugin, Spitfire Labs, always nice. Grab it because
I'm curious. Everybody in the chat, have you guys used the labs yet? Because Josh and Kh3rtis and I were talking about this yesterday before we did our little impromptu live stream, and we were just saying how like it's so cool that they have all these free things there. So if you need to make an orchestral type track, it might not be the best. There may be some issues with the MIDI velocities in some of them and things like that. But like you have this whole range and library of sounds you can pull from that are just free. It's incredible.
It is. I'll put my fidget cube down and we'll go from there. So yeah, it's really good to go. Really good to see. I love them. We were saying yesterday, the only one that we didn't particularly like was the piano from Philip Glass.
The Glass. Yeah, this is what led to our impromptu patron live stream yesterday. I think it has its merit, and it's really cool that it's, I think, a sample from his piano. But I like more sustained piano sounds, and I found a lot of it was much more like that plucky type of sound. And so just for me, it wasn't the biggest, but I used it mixed with, I think, their felt piano, and it was great.
And Valhalla, obviously.
Well, yeah, that makes everything better. And Hydro Fighter says he's waiting to score his first film before he uses them. You could, you could just do Imagine films, but Hydro Fighter, I'd love to see like the pianos they have or those atmospheric cellos in some of your sounds. And Shady Rich says I have not, but worth checking out. Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking them out. They're free. I mean, if you've got the space on your computer, it's worth grabbing.
Well, they got lots of stuff. They got free stuff. They've got quite low cost stuff.
Yeah, there's pianos.
They always have
cinematic piano and the felt piano.
They just put out a definitive grand piano for like $30, I think, or something.
And then they've got really expensive sort of tools that are in conjunction with famous artists and so on, which are pretty awesome, but quite expensive. And maybe you'll sound a little bit like that artist if you use them.
I mean, I use the full like Spitfire symphonic stuff at work, and it is. I mean, it's incredibly expensive. It's like €600, but it is good.
That BBC one's great though too. Kh3rtis recommended. Yeah. I think you just fill out a form, and a week or two later they send you this free like whole orchestral library. The only thing I wish is you could, in one example of like in one thing, you could do more than just cello, or like you can only select one individual piece of the orchestra. At least that's what I found on Logic. Yeah, I could be wrong, but for me at least, when I try to do it, like you can only choose bass, cello, one of the parts of the orchestra. I wish you could just have the full MIDI range to like go between, because I think Albion 1 had that where you could choose just like full orchestra, and you could just use that whole MIDI range to do all the different stuff.
Again, it's an upsell, isn't it? That's why they do these labs. It's free. It's free, but they're trying to upsell you to buy their product. Which, when I've made my millions making trap beats with the new MPC, that's exactly what I'll do. But until that point, I'm going to stick with free stuff.
After you've had your studio gilded.
Exactly. But who needs all that when you've got Valhalla Supermassive, right? I mean, that fixes everything.
There is that.
Need more sustain? Supermassive. Need atmosphere? Supermassive.
There you go. But our big talking point for the week, moving across very so slowly, is the latest coming out of Epic and Bandcamp. Sunwarper, take us through. You've dissected it.
Yeah, so it's been a minute since I read through it, but there's just more news. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I know Epic, for the last, I want to say, couple years, have been involved in some lawsuits with both Apple and Google regarding like their stores and monetary issues, and this is an issue now with Bandcamp where Google's saying if Epic doesn't do something, they're going to charge 30%, I think, per sale or something like that, rather than the 10%. And Epic's saying, like, oh, we can't do that. And Google apparently is claiming, oh, you can either use a different store on Android and not do that, or if you do something, you can bypass this 30%, but Epic's claiming they can't. And of course, Epic's saying that if you, if Google doesn't fix it or, doesn't want to keep it at 10%, it's going on the artists, or may go on the artists, that extra 20% or whatever. So more fees, which I believe when Bandcamp got bought by Epic, they claimed you're still going to get the great artist fee, the great low artist fees and great this and great that. So I just thought, these corporate contentions, it's like Bandcamp's just, I don't think this is why Epic bought Bandcamp, obviously. I'm sure there's some reason that's coming soon why Epic bought Bandcamp, but now it seems like Bandcamp is becoming a pawn in these corporate contentions from these massive global corporations. Curtis, go ahead. Well, yeah.
We are.
Well, we are. Yeah, true. We are. That's a better way to put it. But it just seems like the way they're using Bandcamp, both of them are being like, well, Google, if you don't do it, artists are going to get higher fees on Bandcamp. And Google's like, oh, Bandcamp can do something else. It's just like they're just a pawn in this massive lawsuit of theirs. And then, of course, by proxy, we become the actual pawns in it because we get all the ridiculous up fees or whatever. But yeah.
They'll just keep on chipping away at our fee when people buy our tracks come from, because that's just the way that it goes. But
I think we had a couple people talking about it in our Patreon group and on the Discord. If you guys want to give your opinion, Shady Ridge says just our luck. Yeah,
this is what we need.
Let me see. So
it was all going so well.
That's all good news because the cost of living's so low at the moment that we can suck up all these extra charges, right?
What inflation?
I mean, in Epic's defense, it looks like this is a change in Google in their rules about how the money goes.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be able to use your own billing system. There were constraints around it, blah, blah, blah. They've changed their mind now. They want all the money to come through them.
Yeah. And don't quote me, but
that's a big U-turn by them.
Don't quote me, but I think that Bandcamp doesn't let you buy on the Apple app, like the iPhone app, because Apple requires a certain percentage. I'm pretty sure, because if you go, even before they got bought by Apple, if you went on your phone to the Bandcamp store, you can't buy stuff. And I'm pretty sure the reason is because Apple wants a higher fee or something. So, yeah.
I mean, I saw it here, and you put it in the group, over the weekend before we started talking about it.
Yeah, I put it on the Discord and the Twitter group.
You did, yeah, nice one. And my first initial reaction was that I should just look more into just selling stuff directly from my website.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a hip hop artist I follow called Tom McDonald, and he doesn't have Bandcamp. He doesn't do things through any form of distributor. You can only buy his merchandise directly from his own website, which seems like a lot of a better way to go in terms of like the only fees really you have then are like your website designer and your marketplace, that kind of thing. It just seems to. Okay, so we had 8 weeks ago, we had Bandcamp bought up by Epic Games. Bandcamp's been so loyal and so good to us for so long. It's now been bought up by a big conglomerate. The idea now is just maybe that just forces us to take even a bigger step back and go even more local and go even more kind of back. But I mean,
it's just a shame because it's a big established platform for independent artists, which, we had talked about a couple weeks ago. Bendu recommended a few alternatives, and it was like, I think Resonate, and it was really cool, but it seemed like it was still in its infancy. And, it took Bandcamp how long to get to the point where it's a big established thing. So it's just a shame, but, we have to go with it. In the Patreon group chat, when I posted it, Lars had an interesting point. Well, the good thing is that Epic is notorious for finding ways around having to give other companies a cut. So maybe that will work out for the artists.
Good point.
I figure if they do have to give a cut, then they will do just about everything they can to get the cut to the lowest number possible. Mm-hmm. And then over on our Discord, which everyone is welcome to, you can check it out in the link in the description. Asef Stripe said, yeah, Epic has a point here. If it allows Google to do this, it's another hand in the pie. Tough call for them. I still hope for an organic alternative to Bandcamp, basically another choice to hedge against future Epic actions. Yeah.
Look, I mean, so far, what we've seen from the Epic takeover has not been too sunny for people like us and putting our stuff out there. So, I mean,
But again, I mean,
Take
this is a change instituted by Google, not Epic. I mean, Bandcamp would have faced this anyway.
Yeah, true. Quite true.
It's true. It's true.
Quite true.
It's whether or not how agreeable. Bandcamp's a much smaller company with a lot more kind of like, well, Epic's a lot bigger. It's a big conglomerate. You know, it's a lot more kind of, I suppose, without assuming too much more of a profit driven kind of thing. Whereas Bandcamp, they had a bit more of a community around it, that kind of thing. And you know, it's about whether or not you can, because at the end of the day, if they just bow to Google, that would be better for the artist at the end of the day. Just let us kind of get on with our thing and keep promoting our own work. And so, yeah, I mean, we'd have to see where that goes.
No, you have a really good point. My only issue is that it's just, yes, it would have happened whether Epic bought them or not, but now because Epic bought them and they have a lawsuit with Google, they're using it in their lawsuit or trying to, you know, leverage or whatever you want to call it. But by default, Bandcamp being bought by Epic makes it a larger issue than it would have been. I mean, we'll have to see. There's nothing we can do but wait and see how everything turns out with this whole acquisition and all that stuff. But it's just interesting to see the drama that is coming out around it and all that stuff, you know. So we're just keeping our eyes on it, seeing what happens, and we'll let you guys know any changes.
Yeah, so we'll keep it on going for now. I mean, there's still, at the end of the day, Bandcamp is still the best way in order to get our music out there.
Even with extra charges.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's still 100 times better than Spotify and the Apple Musics and the Amazons and stuff out there. You know, if you're a fan, spend $1, don't stream it. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is the way that it goes. Or do both. Actually, that would be even better. Actually, yeah. Why not both?
Stream it while you sleep and then buy it.
Exactly.
If you really like an artist, you should be sticking them on repeat, buying it, and going to bed.
One more time. So yeah, entirely. We are at 34 minutes past the hour, and we're online. We have just seen. I was ready to bring Kh3rtis in. It's just timed out. So Steve,
bummer.
It's all right. There he is. Speak the devil.
There we go.
Kh3rtis
Perfect.
And we can move on to Eon Lake's little section on envelope generators, because that is cool and that is really interesting, very interactive. So let's get Kh3rtis in here and see what he has to say. Here we go. Coming out of there we go. Here he is.
Hey Steve, what's up, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
Guys.
How you doing, man? What's new?
Just wanted to say hello, Kh3rtis. Hello, Eon Lake. Hello, Sunwarper. My name is Hydro Fighter, and I'm here to stay, guys.
Yes.
It's a very good way of doing it. No, we take the feedback from the people, and it works. It's really nice.
Yeah, and then Kh3rtis yells at us
it's
about
spelled
it.
strangely, isn't it? Hydro. It's Stephen Setzer.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced.
Same with Eon Lake.
Hydro.
It looks like Howard Fox.
Howard Fox.
It's strange.
It's pronounced.
Well, this is it. Like, we are trying to be more professional and more consistent in what we do. This is a very new venture, and all of us have grandiose ideas, and then we're all too busy to do anything about it. That's kind of
Naturally, it's all coming naturally to us.
Exactly. As you can tell, we're the pinnacle. We all went to media school. We all know what
I think Shady Ridge is asking Hydro Fighter, but he says, "You get a haircut?"
I did.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Thanks, Shady. Now, since you guys call him Shady, I've been calling him Shady outside. I mean, I've known him since we were 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Way back then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's plenty of nicknames we've had for each other over the years. I mean, just from different friends and all that type of stuff like that. So
Continue.
I like going by our aliases, our monikers. I think it's cool. It makes me feel fictional. It makes me feel a lot stronger than what I am. So if you're going to pick a moniker for yourself, make sure it's a good one if you're going to be joining us, because nobody wants to be known as the loser.
Well, apparently Kh3rtis will yell at us if we use the someone's given name, not their moniker.
Well, we have to see.
By the way, I'm just kidding. I don't want people to think Josh actually was like, or Kh3rtis was actually like, you guys are messing up, blah, blah, blah. No.
The only thing I get touchy about is the Google Calendar.
Yeah, and now I'm getting touchy about the drive file for this topics for this show.
We can make it work.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We're
at episode 10.
We are growing, 20. We are learning, and we are taking on everything we can in order to be better than what we are today. Everything's growing. Let's face it. So yeah, it's very nice. Now, without much further ado, we'll have to see. Before we do though, What have you been working on this week, Hydrofire?
I have been playing around with creating shapes in oscillators using synthesizers.
Oh,
Okay.
very cool.
Yeah,
Wave
so
What
tables?
shapes have you been creating?
well, I haven't really been creating, but there's some videos I found of there's some Max for Live free plugins where you can get these oscillators, and this guy built these synthesizers to create shapes like butterflies and mushrooms, and then you can
Whoa,
tweak with them in real time based on what you're tweaking with on the synths.
interesting.
So it changes like the shape of the mushroom head or the size of the butterfly and how it flowers out and all that type of stuff. It's cool.
Is this like that Aphex Twin thing where if you put it in like a spectrogram or something, you see his face or a face pop through as the song goes past?
I guess I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, okay. There's some song, I forget which one it is, but when you put it on a certain like meter thing or something, at a certain point, like all these trippy noise happens, and then boom, this face pops up on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But is it kind of like that, or is it a little different?
I think it's kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you're using sounds to create the visuals
Yes, it should be.
in the oscope. So, I mean, even like adding delays will make the circles look a little bit different. Adding
Mhm.
distortions will make them square out a little bit. And I think it's cool. I'm just looking for some new ideas type of thing.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it. It's a
Yeah.
good way of doing it.
So let me ask a question to Mr. Eon Lake. Did you get a chance to go see the Carbon Based Life Form show with who was the other group that you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Ah.
That's a
Which
shame.
that would have been a good one for the bucket list.
Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
see CBL. Yeah.
Marconi Union was the other act. Two
Yeah.
great
They're from
acts.
Liverpool, aren't they? I like the both of them actually. Yeah, I've got a few albums of both of theirs in my collection. It would have been a good one for sure. Yeah, I missed it. I'm not even gonna.
There was
Yeah,
somewhere-
let's drop it because I think we'll all just get mad for missing it.
Yeah. I'd love to see CBL. It would be a great way to kind of end my existence. That'd be a great way down. Can you imagine going out?
Or
Can you imagine
continue
going-
it.
All that, yeah. But I mean, if,
Yeah, maybe revitalize it
I mean,
instead of
if,
just going the
if
dark way.
Interloper was
Revive.
playing as I faded from existence, I'd feel like that would be a pretty good way to go. That'd be quite a nice way. On that note, but yeah.
Hydro Fighter, just really quick, can you put up your volume just a pinch?
Interesting. I just threw that in the chat. So,
Okay.
can you tell the difference now?
I can see levels. Just talk.
How about now?
Just a pinch more.
I think that's as loud as I can.
Then that's
go.
fine. You're hitting yellow. We're all just slightly above the yellow. Again with the
Can
like
you
I
talk
mentioned.
like this?
Just go right up to the microphone and just
I'll be
crank
right
it. No, I'm
here.
kidding. Yeah, that's
How's
fine.
that?
Just be comfortable. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You're fine as you were, so
What
I
could
wouldn't
do
worry
is
about it.
I could do a Kh3rtis and do one of these things.
Yeah, but no, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. That's the worst. When the microphone, it's so quiet,
I'm
and then,
talking.
and then he comes right up to it and it's just cranked.
It's great. It keeps you on your toes, eh? It keeps you on your toes.
And Stanley's here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we are, like I say, let's have a look. Eon Lake has a wonderful little presentation for us this week.
Ooh.
Do you what Eon Lake? Do you want to talk to
Are
us?
you
what
going to
you're
be able to give us a little demonstration?
doing? I am gonna.
I
This
hope
is
so.
some weird thing that Ableton have come up with. I think it's still quite new to demonstrate theories of sound creation, mainly in the subtractive synthesis sort of area, but it shows you oscillators, amplitude, waveforms, how you can change them. One of the things that I suppose it's useful for is actually, if you've ever wondered, never quite understood ADSR envelopes and what part is what, it's sonic. You get to mess around with it, and it gets to show you with animation which part of the wave you're listening to, or which part of the stage of an ADSR envelope, and so on. So it's a very visual and audio way of explaining how all this stuff works. It gets progressively more complicated as you work your way through it. And when you get to the end, there's this little playground bit that you can mess around with, which has pretty much got all those elements in, and you can just mess around and make a racket. If you're trying to understand these things, maybe for doing some modular and just polishing up your understanding of it, or if you're trying, you've got kids and you want them to be loser musicians too, you can teach them with it. But it's I thought it was kind of quirky and interesting, really. Do you want to have a little go there?
Yeah. Let's see
yeah.
an example.
I can't. If I press this, I can hear that. Can you?
Oh,
hear
your
that?
sound's
no,
not
we
coming
can't,
through.
Yeah. So
all right. Well, Kh3rtis, why don't you put the link in the chat?
So yeah, I'll put the
on
link
YouTube,
in the,
so
in
we
the
can-
YouTube chat.
Because I want to check this out. I didn't get to look at it when you posted it, so I was hoping to see it today. But that's
Or Kh3rtis, can you use your mouth to create? The
yeah,
sound,
just
to replicate
emulate
the
it.
sound?
Just go on the Ultranova and just hit it and let's see what happens.
So, okay, all right. So the fundamentals. Okay, so the fundamentals of attack. So attack. Eon Lake.
Oh, I thought you were gonna actually start voicing it and be like, "This is how attack goes."
I mean, we could, but I mean, we're already
the way you were like,
level.
"Okay, so the fundamentals. Here we go." It's like, "Oh wow, we're doing it."
No, it's all good. So I mean, okay. So for those watching who don't understand the fundamentals of attack and attack, sustain, decay, and release, Eon Lake, you are the modular man here. So let's you take the reins, sir.
Well, you want me to explain what the attack is?
Oh my
It's the initial onset of the sound and how fast it reaches its maximum level.
The definition too is right on the thing.
That
An
is
envelope's
on the
attack
top.
control determines how long it takes for the
Oh.
envelope to reach its peak at the start of a note. No, you were spot on. I'm just reading what it says.
So essentially, if we have a longer attack, then the sound takes longer to come into play, which is great for ambient work.
That's how I think of a pad versus like a pluck synth. A pluck synth is
Yeah.
quick. There's like no attack to it. A pad, if you have it kind of going at a slope, that's what the attack is doing. You can even see it if you move that attack to the right, Kh3rtis. That's what's happening. The sound will slowly come up. It's like if you
If you
just
ever
put a
mess around
volume
with this
ducking.
yourself, it will be changing the sound as you play with
Very
it,
cool.
so that
That's
you
sick.
can hear the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And the idea is that, as you can see, if you follow the blue as it comes up, if I push this little circle, there you go. It
Yeah.
takes ages to come in.
That's
I
a
mean,
long attack.
That is a long attack. But then again, if you want to have like a little plucky sound, you shorten the attack.
Yeah, to like nothing, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
which
So
is
what's the
really
next one? Decay?
The next one would be Decay and Sustain, which
Okay.
come as a pair.
Ah.
So it took me a while to kind of understand the differences between Decay and Sustain. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, your sustain is usually set at a level, and your decay is how long it takes from the initial onset peak to get down to the sustain level, if there is one.
Well, I mean, are you reading it or are you just going off of the head? Because that's almost like the same thing it's saying.
That's
Just
just
verbatim.
how I understand
Oh man,
it.
that's impressive.
This is where we find out that Eon Lake wrote this.
Yeah, it says on the thing, an envelope's decay determines. Oh, you moved it. Go back up.
Sorry.
Determines how long it
Top,
takes.
yeah.
Stop moving it. Determines how long it takes for the envelope to decrease from its peak to the sustain level. The envelope will then stay at the sustain level as long as the note is held.
Yes. So if you've got a short decay, as you can see, it just becomes a thing like that. Whereas if you've got a bit of a longer one, it comes down.
Yeah.
So practical application here, if you're playing an analog synth and you've got your sustain level set really low and you're playing notes and there's no gap between the notes, it's legato, you're going to find it starts to get a little bit quiet. And then when you come off a note and play a note again, it's going to be really loud. And that's because you're hearing the attack and decay part of it, and your sustain is so low that you don't get any. If you're past the attack in that and the delay, and you're just playing notes that are all joined together, it's all going to be at the sustain level.
That could work.
So you'd
Yeah.
hear that as being quite quiet with a plucky sort of sound that's really quiet in between.
Yeah,
And then
that
if
could
you
work
bring sustain up, then it sounds more pad-like in between, and it's a lot louder.
completely. Nicely done. Finally, then, moving over to the release, which is another kettle of fish in its own right. Again, very good for ambient work. What is release, Eon Lake?
It's how long it takes for the sound to die away to the minimum level once you've released it, you know.
Exactly.
Once you've got the note off or the gate off or whatever signal you're using.
Almost
Well,
word
that's
for
it.
word.
Almost word for word. So, for example, if I put the release here, I think this is best. This is one I can actually demonstrate without the sound. So if we're watching this come down here, if I click this button on the right-hand side, watch my hands, folks. It's still doing its sound, still doing its thing. So yeah, Fundamentals of attack, decay, sustain, and release. Always nice. Who says you don't learn something when you come and hang out with us?
Yeah.
There's loads more though. I mean, they go into all sorts of things about what amplitude is and all the rest of it, and, and what happens when you start stacking these things together and changing them together. The important thing is, I think for some people, it might bridge the gap between knowing a sound that you've heard and understanding why it sounds like that. So that you're able to do something similar. So if you've heard something where the resonance and the filter cutoff are sweeping, but you're also introducing modulation to the pitch and giving it vibrato and all this other stuff at the same time. A lot of these things have like, oh yeah, definitely heard that before. It might bridge the gap for some people if you've.
This is huge. Yeah, because it took me a long time to understand it. It was just through trial and error, ADSR on like the Prophet and things like that, and it's really cool that it's all there, and with examples. I'm gonna check this out just for fun, just to refresh my own mind.
I'll be interested to see if they add other stuff, more.
I hope so.
Sort of West Coast stuff like low pass gates and things like that, and how they work, because it's kind of like an envelope but different, and it behaves a little bit more like a plucked instrument in the way that it does. But I'd like to know more about that myself, to be honest.
Good work.
Yeah.
I mean, there are more. There is more. Just for time, as we are now, because we're getting on for 50 minutes.
Yeah, the link's in the chat. If you're interested in this, you can check it out. And the chat will be up even after this stops being live, so you can just check it out on the chat.
Completely. It's a very interesting way, and I mean, little things like this, I wish I had when I was starting out, so I can understand like how this.
It's a lot easier than reading a book or.
Yeah.
I mean,
those
who
examples
reads these days?
YouTube videos, man. That's all you need.
That's all you need. Let's wrap up the hour where we have Sunwarper's marketing minutes.
Yeah, marketing minutes. Yeah. So we talked last week about Facebook ads, and I mentioned that I wanted to show something that I had discovered about Facebook ads and how you could compare and look at what other people are doing. But really quick, some interesting news came out from that Adam Mosseri. I think he's the head or CEO or something of Instagram. He said that they, for this week, are testing out doing 9:16 in the feed, which if you remember when I talked about Instagram Reels, I said, in feed it's 4:5, and when you click it, it goes to 9:16. Well, he said they're pushing 9:16, both photos and videos in feeds. So I think that even means like, if you do a video, not a reel, but a video, you should try to make it 9:16 because it's going to take up the full real estate, so to speak, of the phone. Because they're really pushing, I guess, mobile usage right now. And so I guess they'll push videos. So you know how they always said, square is the way to go. So you take up a big chunk of the space. Well, now it's 9:16, like the full thing. So just interesting information to know if you're trying to push Instagram or grow on Instagram. That's something cool to know. And then moving on to the Facebook, Josh, Kh3rtis, if you could share your screen with that link. This is called Facebook's, it's like on the Meta, but Facebook ad library. And can you go to the other one first? The other page? Yeah. So this is the ad library. I'll put the link in the comments once this is done. And then I'll also put it over in the Discord if anybody wants to check it out. So what's cool about this is you can actually search artists, pages, not individual people, but like public pages. You can see what ads they're running and like where and things like that. So you would first have to go to ad category, which is that second one, put all ads. And then you can search, if you go to the search, you can search like Deftones or Tycho or anything. And there you pop up. So if you hit Deftones, you'll see all the ads they're running. It looks like, I don't know if they're running a ton at the moment.
I got 6 here, I got 4 here.
Yeah, but that's like one ad set. So they're running multiple types of ads in it. That means they're choosing like country and stuff. Curtis, if you could go to that other page we had pulled up. This is a lo-fi record label, Inner Ocean Records. And so if you look down, you see they launched these in February 2022 and they're still running them. So they have multiple different ads. It looks like they're only running them on Instagram, which is interesting. And then you can see the text that they're doing, but also the video. So you can get an idea of like the type of video that they're doing. And if it seems like it works, because their Spotify playlist is growing or something like that, you could try to do something similar. Like I've seen people, we talked about, Kh3rtis is working on a lyric video for me for my next track. And I'm looking at I'm looking at like how lyric videos, they advertise those in 9x16 and like whether they put, on Spotify or like this stuff. And you can see like they have a little Spotify fade in on the one video. And you can see also at the bottom that they have the listen now. Like, I think that's the buy now section. You can choose what you want. Like, check it out, listen now, buy now, all that stuff. And it sends it. So it's just cool. If you're trying to do Facebook ads, you can get an idea of people or groups that are doing successful ads or like in your area, like what genre and stuff, these successful artists, if you want to emulate what they're doing, things like that. It's just cool. You can search anyone that's got any public page on Facebook. You can see what ads they're running and stuff like that. It's super helpful just for reference.
And I mean, these, like you say, they're running the 16:9 things. These, it doesn't have to be like a fancy animation that you've got here. You could quite easily go onto something like Pexels and download a little video. And I mean, you see,
and Canva, you can put all this stuff. You can even do those animations where it like forms in and stuff. I'm sorry, Kh3rtis, go ahead. I just wanted to mention.
No, you're completely right. It's just stemming off of that, really. Like you see, PVC do it quite a bit, and Grzegorz Bojanic, he does it quite a bit as well, where they get stock footage and then just cut it into the right size and make a whole thing.
Yeah, and you can slap an album art on it from on Canva or something like that. And it's interesting to note, I bet this is 9x16 because they are doing story ads, and I'm not sure if there's a way to see it. Kh3rtis, can you just scroll up just slightly so it shows that section? Yeah. So it says platform Instagram, but it doesn't say where. So on ads, when you're choosing an ad, you can choose what platforms and what content on the platform you want it to be. Like, do you want it to advertise in the feed, in stories, on Facebook stories, and like the Facebook network, which puts it on all these websites or something that have ties with Facebook? I wouldn't do that one. I would stick to probably Instagram and maybe Facebook if you can control, because there was one thing on Facebook called like in feed or something, and it pushes everything to that one setting, and it's a total waste. So I typically avoid Facebook, and you can see these guys do too. So it's just something to note, and it's really cool to see just if you're trying to grow on Facebook or Spotify or push something, it's good to know what's working.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, hit it.
For our marketing guru. The things that I read and the things that I was going to be doing on Facebook and so on, they all said, like, well, don't ever do any of those like promotional campaigns where it goes, give us £5 and we'll turn this into an ad for you. What you need to do is configure an ad profile and link it to your page and run all of your programs, your campaigns from there, so that you have access to all the data, which you can then use to inform your subsequent campaigns to make them, reach the right people and so on. But, don't ever just throw money at an advert. Set up a proper ad profile, because you need the access to the information in order to properly use the system and make it work for you.
Yeah, so are you saying like, well, hold on. When you say just send someone $5, are you saying don't just set up a thing on Facebook, or are you saying it's good to set up a profile
where you make
on
a post and then it says, "Oh, give us some money."
I got you.
It's like,
I understand.
Don't do that.
Okay,
if you're going to do ads, set up an ad profile.
Correct. So either way, I don't know if the first time you do it, if you hit boost post and you don't have a profile set up, it doesn't set it up. But I think maybe what you're talking about. So I know what you're talking about, and I'll explain. So when you make a post on Facebook, there's a little thing that pops up, boost post. And if you hit that, you can choose a couple things, right? That's what you're talking about, like when you post. Yeah. So
you can choose to throw your money away.
Yeah, that's a quick way to do it. But I believe you still have to have an ad profile set up on Facebook to do that. But if you go to, I think it's, I forget what the website's called now. It's either like Meta Business or Facebook Business, but there's a Facebook.
It used to be Facebook Business, but they might have rebranded it now.
I think they did. As you can see, that ad library, it still says Facebook library on the URL, but it's Meta. But anyways, the business page that you can get to, it's like a Meta thing. You can control if you link it both Insta and Facebook on there. But when you do advertisements through that, you have way more options that you see as you're setting up an ad. There's like the type of ad you want to do, whether it's conversion, link clicks, this, that. Then you can choose where you want the ad to go. You can choose if they like certain groups. Like if you make lo-fi, you could choose, I want to advertise to people who like XYZ artist and XYZ label. And then you can control, like I was saying earlier, where it goes. Does it just go to Instagram? What forms of Instagram promotion? Does it go to Facebook? Oh, I think it's Messenger is that ad type I said that's useless. It like pops up in people's Messenger. Like no one's going to click that. But yeah, so there's different things you can do. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Going into the ad profile that you create and you have, it's almost like granular control. I do think though, if you do that quick way, you can do most of those settings if you have the profile set up, but it is probably better to go just to the website for ads or your business and then do it from there. So yeah. So yes, you're right. Long story short.
That works.
Yeah.
And that, well, it's a very informative way of doing. Where's your next form of exploration, Sunwarper?
I don't know. Is there anywhere you guys want me to explore next?
I'd be curious to see what we could do with in terms of the audio if there's any differences when we put our own audio on Reels or other forms of audio that are already on there.
Oh, you're talking about like that TikTok way of sharing an already established trending audio, right?
Well, I just wonder if we put our own, more along the lines of if we put our own audio up because it's not trending, so to speak. I'm wondering if there is something there in terms of reachability. That's all.
Probably, but aren't you trying to advertise your music, not someone else's?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So,
but it's
Okay. Well,
I'll take a look.
How about engagement rate if, say, the equipment used is gold?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you buy me one of those MPCs, I'll test it out. Or anybody listening, if you want to make a fund and get me one of those, I can test out all the reels.
I see gold equipment. I'm clicking.
Yeah, as many reels as you want. I'll test it out.
The more gold the gear,
yeah,
the better the music.
You could get me a gold cover for the SP. I'll try that. You can get me the MPC. You know, I'm game to try it. Whatever. I'm here for you guys, so you can tell me.
And we are all here for the guys who are watching this. And thank you very much indeed for sticking us through the whole hour. As ever, it's always
if you did.
It's always good.
Didn't just willfully smash your screen.
Yeah.
Really quick though, Hydra Fighter, do you have anything regarding ads or anything? Any questions?
No, I mean the only thing I'd say about Facebook is I don't see Facebook as a platform for people looking or searching for new music. I mean, Instagram maybe more. But I'm not on there as much as I would. Facebook is just kind of that weird old find an old college buddy type of platform to me. So
you're right, but it's got groups and it's got Insta. Like Instagram is that's how you advertise on Insta.
Yeah,
completely.
But you're totally right.
They've got a shit ton of data on everybody.
They do.
That's the thing.
And when you're doing those ads, you can like use that. You don't see it, but you could put like
everything about it.
They know more about your gear than you know about your gear.
They know Eon Lake's buying that gold MPC right after this. It's open on his tabs. He's got one. And Kh3rtis too. He's about to quit Ambient just for that.
I'm just it's all about that gold plated. I'm gonna come back with a grill next week. It's gonna be great. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'd like to know what you guys at home watching this feel, either live or those who tuned in later. We'd love to know what you guys think. What if there's anything you've taken away from this particular episode? Anything that you have tried in terms of Facebook ads that has worked for you? Please let us know. We'd love to know. We're no guru. We just like chatting this stuff. So we'd like to know what you guys think.
It's fun to research it. And you can always find us over on the Discord. We're talking all about that kind of stuff. Music production. We talked about the syntax. We talked about everything over there. You can find the link down below. And the show is brought to you by our patrons over at patreon.com/audionautic. And if you join, you get content like an additional podcast with Kh3rtis, myself, and Eon Lake called Starstream. We had a bit of a fumble with it yesterday, but we turned it around with a live stream, and we'll be doing the proper one next week. Will be coming out. We've got radio shows with ambient music for ambient people, which is by Billows Burn Bright, and then we've just started Binary Stars. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. We'd love to have you over there. We get a Twitter group. There's a exclusive channel on the Discord for patrons. So if you're interested, head on over. It's in the description. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, very much so. Until next week, because this is the highlight of the week for everyone involved. Until next week, thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.